This is Dabu7, November 20th, 2013. I put out a video November 14th in concerns of Deep Impact, a craft of NASA's that they lost communication with. They declared it dead, an end to the mission, and it should have been floating out into space as space junk. It could not open up its dish and get power from the sun to guide it, to send communications, anything, and it kept sending a repeated cycle of codes through it that they couldn't fix. So it should have drifted off into space, but for somehow, some way, this deep impact, the same deep impact that some trolls and shills out there are saying doesn't have a camera and is only a probe, are liars. Straight up, you can come to these links. It gives beautiful images of these comets and asteroids when they probe them, they're filming them, and it also already filmed Comet Ison at a very long distance away, and I shared that video already as well, and it's real deal. And Deep Impact does have a camera on it. Look it up yourself. But what I want to point out here, for those of you that have common sense and can wrap your mind around this, that this is either a 1 in a billion coincidence with NASA, which right there should throw up a red flag, those words in the same sentence, or they knew Comet Ison was in existence in 2004, 2005, when they created Deep Impact, when they wrote the programs, and they sent this thing out in space. Deep Impact is sitting, as you can see in front of you, at the best possible view you could ever imagine to get the best angle and shots of Comet Ison as it hits perihelion. The exact moment. And if it was to hit the sun, it would be, well, at its closest point at perihelion. And that would be an impact. And Deep Impact would catch that. Although you have stereo A, stereo B, and you have the LASCO over here that are all going to be taking amazing shots, that all have amazing cameras set up, they're not going to be sitting at this angle. What are the odds that this craft is sitting here? Well, you would have to say, well, they put it there on purpose. What are the odds it's sitting there to get these shots? You didn't think they'd have a camera set up for this? All right? Well, they do. You're like, all right, well, they moved it there, right? How? How on a craft that they lost complete communication with, and that was sent up in 2005? They just found Comet Ison this past year. Do you know the mathematics and the skill and the time that it takes to place these objects, these orbiters, into position? To swing them around planets and to get them into the gravitational fields of exactly where they need them and want them? It takes a lot and some time. So if you think they just got Deep Impact up and running and shot it on over to this spot in space to get this, it don't work like that. This had to have been written, and anyone out there with common sense knows this. And that right there should be the deal breaker. You have to ask yourself at this point, is it a 1 in a billion chance coincidence that it's sitting here like this, or did NASA know? And I think you already know the honest answer to that. They knew. Now, why would they keep this thing a secret till it got right upon us in the inner solar system and say they just discovered it? Why? Before you just assume that this is a dirty snowball and that they just found it and that they're telling you the truth about everything, think twice and think about the odds and the math and the skill and what it takes to get an object into position before you make a determination to think that, oh, well, it's just by chance it's there. Oh, well, okay, I'm going to leave you guys with some audio. This guy, Jim McCanney, 30 years in the game of studying these objects. I'm going to let him tell you what these comets really are. And on the backup channel, I'm going to put up a video of him speaking, a lengthy video on this complete subject.
And once these objects come into the solar system, we have now seen that comets, in fact, can cause solar flaring, tremendous solar energy when comets come near the sun and interact electrically with the sun. So those flares could come out to us directly, or they could charge up the solar capacitor and ultimately affect our weather indirectly. So I call this action at a distance. The situation and the term I use is my own search for extra solar system objects. Many objects are around us in outer space. Most of them are small, but a very few of them are large. And there are some out there. When they come into the solar system, they affect the sun, which we're seeing right now, and they affect the planets if they come near them. Obviously, there's a undercurrent of information coming from us and coming from the standard astronomical community, which suggests there is an object right now moving into our solar system, and this information is being kept from the public.